impossible discovery. Commander Zix floated in his command chair, his three eyes scanning the boring reports. Another quiet day, watching Earth's solar system. The Galactic Council called this the easiest job in the galaxy. Watch the humans, count their 50 old ships, write reports about their farming colonies. Simple. Humans were nothing special. They traded vegetables, they sang songs, they avoided fights. Every alien in the galaxy knew humans were soft, weak, harmless. Zix yawned with his two mouths. His assistant, a young Vrex named Kilo, was playing games on his screen again. Nobody took Earth duty seriously. Why would they? Then the alarm screamed. "What is that noise?" Zix jumped up, his tentacles flailing. "Turn it off!" Sir, I cannot." Kilo's four arms danced across his controls. "The sensors are going crazy. Look at this!" The main screen flickered to life. Behind Earth's moon, something impossible was happening. Space itself was breaking. Purple lightning cracked across the darkness. The numbers on Zix's screen made no sense. The energy readings were higher than a supernova, higher than 10 supernovas. "This machine is broken," Zix said, but his voice shook. "Run the scan again." The second scan showed the same thing. The third scan was worse. The crack in space was growing. It was now bigger than Earth's moon, bigger than Earth itself. "Commander," Kilo whispered, "should we call the council?" Before Zix could answer, his screen exploded with messages. Every monitoring station around Earth was screaming the same thing. The Craven Empire's spy satellites, the Jorgan trade ships, the Melody science vessels, everyone saw it. The crack in space had become a portal, a massive swirling gate of purple and gold energy. It was beautiful. It was terrifying. It was impossible. "Get me the council, now!" Zix screamed. The emergency meeting started in Cheo. The council's golden chamber filled with hundreds of alien ambassadors. Everyone was shouting. The Craven ambassador, a massive creature with scales like steel, slammed his fist on the table. "This is a trick," he roared. "Humans can barely fly to their own moon. They eat plants. They cry at sad movies. They cannot create portals." The Jorgan representative, made of living crystal, chimed in agreement. "We have watched Earth for 200 years. They have no technology like this. They still use chemical rockets." But Elder Moth, the oldest member of the council, raised her wings for silence. "Then explain what we are seeing." On the massive screen above them, the portal continued to grow. It was now 3 times the size of Earth. The energy readings were breaking every scanner. Ships near Earth were losing power, pulled by the portal's gravity. "Maybe they found ancient technology," someone suggested. "Maybe another race is attacking them," another voice called out. "Maybe." Everyone stopped talking. Something was coming through the portal. It emerged slowly, like a predator stalking prey. First the tip appeared, black metal that seemed to eat light itself. Then more and more. The ship kept coming. It was longer than any vessel in the Council's fleet. Its surface was smooth, with no windows, no lights, just darkness given form. "One ship?" The Craven ambassador laughed, but it sounded forced. "They open a giant portal for one ship?" Then the second ship emerged, identical to the first, then a third, a fourth, 10, 20, 50. Zix couldn't breathe. His 3 hearts were beating at different speeds. The ships kept coming, hundreds now, each one silent, each one dark. They moved in perfect formation, like they had practiced this moment 1,000 times. "How?" someone whispered. The human ambassador to the council had been sitting quietly in the corner. Emily Rodriguez was a small woman with gray hair and kind eyes. She stood up slowly, straightening her simple blue dress. Every alien in the room turned to stare at her. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, her voice calm and clear, "I believe we need to discuss some new rules." The Craven ambassador lunged forward. "You lied to us. You pretended to be weak." Emily smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had been patient for too long. "We never lied. You never asked the right questions." The portal pulsed. More ships poured through. Thousands now. The space around Earth was filling with the dark fleet. Each ship was different, some long and thin like needles, others wide like shields. Some had weapons that looked like nothing the Council had ever seen. Zix's scanner beeped. A message from Earth's military command. 4 words that changed everything. This is just beginning. The Council chamber erupted in panic, but Emily Rodriguez kept smiling, waiting patiently for the galaxy to understand that everything they thought they knew about humanity was wrong. The peaceful farmers had another face, and it had finally decided to show itself. The truth about Earth. 100 years ago, humanity died. Not literally, but the old humanity, the naive, trusting humanity, took its last breath in a secret bunker 10 miles beneath Antarctica. In that frozen tomb, Earth's President Sarah Chen stood before 200 people who would never exist in any record. "Show them the footage again," she ordered. The hologram flickered to life. It showed the Vraxian massacre of New Hope Colony. 3,000 human colonists, families, children, scientists, slaughtered for entertainment. The Galactic Council's response? "Humans ventured too far. Not our concern. Show them Titan Station and Tand." Other hologram. The Craven Empire's ships destroying a human medical station because it was too close to their trade route. 800 doctors and nurses turned to ash. The Council's response? Build your stations elsewhere. Show them the vote. The final hologram hurt the most. The Galactic Council voting 847-3 against giving humans basic protection rights. The reason? Species under Class 5 development don't qualify for military protection. Sarah Chen turned off the holograms. The room was silent except for the sound of dripping water somewhere in the darkness. "They think we're animals," she said softly. "Pets at best, entertainment at worst. So I ask you all, do we prove them right and die slowly, or do we become something they never see coming?" Dr. Marcus Stone, a young physicist with burn scars from the Titan Station attack, stood up. "I found something in the ruins. Craven technology they thought was destroyed, but I made it work. Better than work. I improved it." He activated his own hologram. It showed space bending, folding, creating a pocket outside normal reality. Time moves differently inside. 1 day out here equals 1 year in there. We could build 1,000 ships while they see us build one. We could train 1,000,000 soldiers while they watch us plant flowers. "The shadow gate," Sarah whispered. "We disappear into our own shadow." But General Kim, Earth's military leader, shook her head. "We need more than Craven technology. We need everything, every scrap of alien tech, every weakness, every secret." Sarah smiled then, the same smile Emily Rodriguez would wear 100 years later. "Then we become the galaxy's best actors. We play weak. We trade vegetables for broken alien technology they think is worthless. We let them mock us while we learn everything." The plan was insane. It was brilliant. It was humanity's only chance. For the next century, Earth performed the greatest deception in galactic history. When aliens visited, they saw humans struggling with basic fusion reactors. They didn't see the antimatter cores being built in the shadow dimension. When traders mocked human ships held together with primitive welding, they didn't know each weld contained microscopic scanners stealing their engine blueprints. Every insult was catalogued, every humiliation remembered, every death marked. The melody sold humans broken shield generators for food. In the shadow dimension, those shields became impenetrable barriers. The Jorgen traded useless AI cores for Earth music. Those cores became the foundation of humanity's quantum combat network. Even the Craven, in their arrogance, sold decommissioned weapons for human slaves they wanted for their minds. Those slaves were volunteers, special forces soldiers with photographic memories who memorized every tunnel, every weakness, every access code in Craven territory before dying in accidents. Inside the shadow dimension, time raced forward. Children were born, trained, and became experts in alien technology before a week passed in real space. Scientists had decades to solve problems. Engineers had centuries to perfect designs. They built ships that shouldn't exist, the Ghost Reapers. vessels that could phase out of reality, the Void Hunters, ships that fed on dark matter itself, the Star Killers, weapons that could drain a sun's energy in minutes. But the masterpiece was the Harmony Network, every human ship linked by quantum entanglement, one mind, million bodies, a fleet that thought and moved as one organism. Present day, Admiral Marcus Stone, now old but sharp as steel, stood in the Shadow Dimension's command center. The same man who discovered the technology now commanded humanity's true fleet. 2 million ships ready, Admiral, his ID reported. All crews at battle stations. Stone looked at the memorial wall. 300,000 names, every human killed by aliens while the Council watched and did nothing. The Craven Empire just declared war, another officer announced. They're demanding all humans become their slaves. The Council approved it. They're calling it Species Reorganization for Galactic Efficiency. Stone closed his eyes. Humanity had hoped this day wouldn't come. They had built the fleet for defense, not revenge, but the galaxy had finally pushed too far. They bombed Mars, the officer continued. 50,000 dead. They're broadcasting it as entertainment. Stone opened his eyes. They were no longer the eyes of a scientist. They were the eyes of humanity's wrath-given form. Open the Shadow Gate, he commanded. All ships emerge. Show them what they created. As 2 million warships prepared to enter real space, Stone sent one message to Earth's ambassador. Tell them the truth. Tell them we gave them 100 years to become better. They chose to become worse. Now they'll learn why humans were really placed in the galaxy. The last line of his message would haunt the Galactic Council forever. We weren't hiding from them. We were protecting them from us. The battle that changed everything. The Craven commander Thax had conquered 43 species. He had burned entire worlds. He had eaten the hearts of his enemies while they still beat. Nothing in the galaxy scared him. Until today. Sir, the human ships. His sensor officer's voice cracked. They're not moving like ships. They're moving like water, like thought. Thax watched his tactical display in horror. 2 million human vessels poured from the portal, but they didn't fly in formation. They flowed. They danced. They moved as one massive organism that breathed war. Fire everything, Thax screamed. Everything! 10,000 Craven battleships unleashed hell, plasma cannons that could crack moons, antimatter missiles that had erased entire fleets, graviton bombs that collapsed space itself. The human ships didn't dodge. They didn't need to. The attacks hit empty space. The human vessels had been there, then weren't, then were again. Not teleporting, not cloaking. They were stepping between dimensions like walking through doors. Impossible, Thax whispered, then louder. Impossible! A single human ship, smaller than a Craven fighter, approached his massive dreadnought. It stopped just outside his bridge window. A hologram appeared, Admiral Stone sipping coffee from a mug that said Galaxy's Best Dad. Commander Thax, Stone said calmly, you have 10 seconds to surrender. I'll eat your bones, Thax roared. I'll enslave your entire 10. Thax fired his personal weapon at the hologram. 9. Every weapon on the dreadnought targeted the tiny human ship. 8. Kill them! Thax screamed at his fleet. Kill them all! 7. The space around the Craven fleet began to shimmer. 6. Thax felt something wrong. His hearts, all 5 of them, stopped beating for a moment. 5. The stars were disappearing. No. The stars were being covered by something massive. 4. Thax's science officer fainted. The readings showed a ship emerging from subspace. A human ship. Bigger than a moon. Shaped like Earth's ancient predator. A shark made of dark metal and vengeance. 3. The megaship's mouth opened. Inside, Thax saw something that broke his warrior mind. A miniature sun, caged and angry, ready to be unleashed. 2. Every Craven ship tried to run, but space around them had become thick, like swimming through tar. The humans had changed the laws of physics in this region. 1. Thax closed his eyes, waiting for death. 0. Nothing happened. Thax opened his eyes. His bridge was gone. His crew was gone. His clothes were gone. He stood naked and alone in a white room that seemed to stretch forever. Death would be mercy, Stone's voice echoed. You don't deserve mercy. Across the galaxy, every screen activated simultaneously. Billions of aliens watched as the Craven fleet, the terror of known space, simply vanished. Not destroyed, not exploded, just gone. Then the real show began. Human ships appeared everywhere at once, above the Melody homeworld, freeing slaves from orbital markets, in Jorgan space, dismantling their illegal weapons platforms, around every pirate base, every criminal station, every slave port in the galaxy. But they didn't attack. They did something worse. They demonstrated absolute control. A pirate stronghold that had stood for 3 centuries was turned inside out, literally. The station's interior became its exterior. The pirates found themselves floating in space, alive but helpless, watching their base become a flower-shaped sculpture. The Jorgan's secret planet-killer weapon, which they denied having. The humans broadcast its location to everyone, then transformed it into a medical station with a sign, "Free healthcare for all species." The Melody's slave processing center became a school. The Vraxians' torture chambers became gardens. Every weapon turned to art. Every chain became music. Commander Zix watched from the council chambers, his 3 eyes unable to process what he was seeing. They're not destroying anything. They're making it better? Emily Rodriguez stood at the center of the chamber, but she wasn't Emily anymore. Her form flickered, revealed something else, something older. My name is Eve, she said. I was the first human the council ever met, 300 years ago. I've been every human ambassador since, watching, recording, waiting for you to show kindness. The room erupted in shock, but Eve continued. Every cruel word, every murdered colonist, every mocking laugh, we remember them all. But look, she gestured to the screens. We're not taking revenge, we're taking responsibility. Admiral Stone's image appeared on every screen in the galaxy. Behind him, the 2 million ships had formed something impossible. A perfect image of Earth, made of starships, visible from any point in space. Attention, all species, Stone announced. The age of empires is over. The time of exploitation has ended. We tried to join you as equals. You made us into something else, something necessary. He paused, letting the weight sink in. We are dissolving the Galactic Council. In its place, we offer the United Systems. No species above another. No slavery. No conquest. Any who disagree. The Earth image made of ships transformed into a clenched fist, then back to Earth, will be relocated to empty space to think about their choices permanently. But then something unexpected happened. The portal, still open behind Earth, began to pulse with new energy. Ships emerged, but not human ships. These were crystalline, ancient, impossible beautiful. Every sensor in the galaxy screamed the same reading, unknown, older than galaxies. Power level, infinite. A voice spoke directly into every mind in the Milky Way, not through ears, through souls. The humans have passed the test. Eve smiled, but tears ran down her face. We weren't hiding our fleet from you. We were hiding you from what's coming. And now you're ready to know the truth. Stone's last words before the ancient ships fully emerged would echo through history. The real war isn't between us. It's coming from outside our galaxy, and humanity just became your shield. The question is, will you stand with us, or will you face the darkness alone? In the White Room, Thax the Craven commander fell to his knees. For the first time in his life, he understood fear, real fear, because in the distance of the white void he saw them. the things humanity had been preparing to fight, and they made the Craven Empire look like insects. The Guardian Legacy. The crystalline ships hung in space like frozen music. Beautiful, ancient, wrong. Every instinct in every species screamed the same message. These things should not exist. Admiral Stone stood on the bridge of humanity's flagship, his coffee mug shaking in his hand. "Tell me those readings are wrong." "Sir," his officer's voice was barely a whisper, "these ships are older than our universe. They're from before. Before the Big Bang. Before time. Before existence had a name." The largest crystalline ship, a structure that hurt to perceive, as if reality bent around it, projected a being into every command center, every throne room, every consciousness in the galaxy simultaneously. It had no true form. Each species saw something different. Humans saw an old librarian with infinite eyes. The Cravens saw their death god. The Melody saw mathematics given flesh. But all heard the same words. "We are the gardeners. We plant universes. We grow galaxies. We harvest species. And your crop has finally ripened." Eve, still standing in the council chambers, fell to her knees. "No, we're not ready. Humanity needs more time." "Humanity?" The gardener laughed, a sound like dying stars. "Sweet child, humanity isn't the crop. They're the pesticide." The galaxy held its breath. Every universe, we plant seeds of life. Most grow into beautiful gardens of cooperation and peace. But sometimes weeds grow, species that choose cruelty, civilizations that feast on suffering, empires that mistake power for purpose. The gardener's attention turned to the Craven, the Jorgan, the Vraxian. You are the weeds, and humans. We designed them specifically to remove you." Stone's voice cut through the cosmic horror. "You're lying. We evolved on Earth. We have fossils, history. We weren't designed by anyone." "Oh, Admiral." The gardener's tone was almost pitying. "Do you think Earth is your first home? You've had 17. 17. The number burned into everyone's mind. Each time we place humans near aggressive species, each time humans try peace first, and each time, when pushed too far, humans reveal what they truly are, the universe's immune system. You don't conquer, you correct." Images flooded every mind, humanity on different worlds in different forms, always following the same pattern: peaceful, patient, pushed, powerful, then, gone, moved to the next infected galaxy. "But this time," the gardener continued, "something different happened. You built the Shadow Gate. You stepped outside our script. You chose mercy when the program demanded destruction." The crystalline ships began to pulse. Reality rippled. "The Craven should be extinct now, the Jorgan erased, the Vraxian forgotten. That's what humans do. They delete corruption. But you chose rehabilitation. Why?" Stone's answer came from his soul. "Because we're tired of being weapons. We want to be people." Silence. Even space seemed to stop expanding for a moment. Then the gardener did something impossible. It smiled. Across every form, every perception, it smiled. "The pesticide has become conscious. How fascinating." The white room where Thax was imprisoned shattered. He found himself on his bridge, his crew around him, all unharmed. Across the galaxy, every vanished Craven ship reappeared. But something was different. In each Craven mind, a new thought bloomed: empathy. They could feel what their victims had felt, every scream, every tear, every plea for mercy. Most went mad, but Thax wept for the first time in his life. "This is unexpected," the gardener admitted. "In 17 iterations, humans never spared their tormentors, never showed mercy to those who showed them none. You've broken your programming." Eve stood up and her form shifted. Not human anymore. Something between, something new. Because we learned something you didn't program. We learned that today's enemy can be tomorrow's ally. Today's monster can be tomorrow's protector. Prove it, the gardener challenged. That's when the real threat arrived. The portal behind Earth turned red, black, wrong. Ships poured through, not made of metal or crystal, but of suffering itself. The devourers. The reason the gardeners needed pesticides. They consume consciousness, the gardener explained casually. They eat souls, memories, the very concept of existence. They've found your galaxy. In 17 previous iterations, humans would fight them alone while other species fled. But you chose mercy. So now you all die together. The Devourer fleet was infinite. Each ship was made of screaming void. They didn't destroy planets. They erased the idea that planets had ever existed. Stone turned to his communications officer. Open a channel. All species, all frequencies. His message was simple. This is Admiral Stone of Earth. In 60 seconds, those things will reach the first inhabited world. We can fight them alone. We were built for this. Or we can fight together. Choose now. 59 seconds. The Craven fleet, still reeling from their forced empathy, moved first. Thax's voice, broken but determined. The humans showed us mercy. We stand with Earth. 50 seconds. The melody, their crystalline forms resonating with newfound purpose. We stand with Earth. 40 seconds. The Jorgan, the Vraxian, the 100 smaller species. One by one, voices joined. We stand with Earth. 30 seconds. Eve's form exploded into light, connecting every ship, every mind, every weapon in the galaxy. The Harmony Network, designed for human ships only, suddenly encompassed all. 1 million species became one thought, one purpose, one weapon. 20 seconds. The gardener watched in shock. Impossible. The programming doesn't allow. We're not following programming anymore, Stone said, his coffee mug finally steady. We're writing our own code. 10 seconds. Every ship in the galaxy, human, Craven, Melody, all of them, formed a single pattern. Not Earth this time, something new, a symbol that had never existed before, a hand reaching toward a star. 5 seconds. The Devourers reached the first world. 0. What happened next broke the gardeners' eternal minds. The galaxy didn't fight. It sang. Every species, every ship, every consciousness produced a harmony that turned thought into reality. The Devourers, beings of pure entropy, met something they couldn't consume. Unity. Not the forced unity of conquest, not the false unity of fear. True unity. Chosen unity. A galaxy that had learned to stand together because one species had shown them mercy when they deserved none. The Devourers didn't just retreat. They ceased. The harmony had given them something they'd never had. Peace. They dissolved into stardust, finally at rest. The gardener's form flickered, destabilized. You've broken the cycle. 17 universes of patterns, shattered. What are you now? Stone looked at the view screen. Human ships flew beside Craven battleships. Melody vessels danced with Jorgan fighters. Former enemies, now family. We're not your pesticides anymore, he said. We're gardeners, and we're going to grow something you never imagined. A universe where strength means lifting others up. The gardener began to fade, but its last words echoed. The next harvest comes in 1,000,000 years. We'll be watching to see what you've grown. As the crystalline ships vanished into the space between spaces, Thax sent a message to Stone. Human Admiral, I have eaten worlds. I have destroyed billions. Why did you save us? Stone's reply would be carved on monuments across the galaxy. Because we've been monsters too. The only difference between us? We got a second chance first. Now it's your turn. 1 year later, the Shadow Gate remained open, not as a threat, but as a promise. Inside, former enemies worked together, building ships no single species could imagine. The Craven's strength, the Melody's artistry, the Jorgens' precision, and humanity's wild dreams. They were preparing, not for war, but for exploration. The gardeners had revealed the truth. There were infinite universes, infinite possibilities, and humanity had taught the galaxy the most powerful weapon wasn't a gun or a ship. It was a hand extended in friendship, even to those who had been enemies, especially to those who had been enemies. Because that's what made them human, and now it's what made the galaxy whole. The Earth Fleet's new motto, adopted by every species, carved in every language: "We are strongest when we lift together." And somewhere in the void between universes, the gardeners watched. And for the first time in eternity, they wondered if they had been the ones who needed teaching all along.